Well, we've already said the date of the week at all their jobs. Wednesday was baking day. I might add a side here. I was only speaking to someone the other day about the baking of home baked bread. It might be interesting to report, and I have all the evidence of it, that insisted there will be about 1,000 souls pre-war living. But the shops there sold 4¼ tons of flour every week pre-First World War, purely for the baking of bread. So if you want to do a mathematical calculation, you can. Anyway, about the baking of bread, we said Wednesday was the baking day. Again, we've seen how the flues were cleaned out first to see that the oven was in good condition. Big Yorkshire baking bowl, now fairly rare, was put at the side of the fire to get not too much heat but some heat. The flour was put in here, a stone, 2 stones, whatever you were going to make. Piece of lard was rubbed into the, which they don't do now, and which hasn't made bread as good. You rub the flour and the lard together. Rub the flour together. Then you make a well in the middle of the flour, and in the meantime you put some yeast in here with water. And put it on there because it needs a temperature to set the yeast working. So now we've got the flour in a kind of a spongy shape with a hole in the middle and the yeast. When you think the yeast is ready, you bring it and add it gradually into the hole. Now, it would sound silly, there's a bit of a technique in bringing all that together, and it's done by the back of the hand, starting in the middle of that hole and going round and round, bringing a bit more flour each time, until I say you've got a nice spongy mass in there, which you would need. And that can be very hard work, turning over a stone, 14 pounds there, and as I say, some people a lot more. Very, very hard work. It's needed and it's needed and needed until you think the thing all together. And with that sharp knife, you take, and by practice you don't need any weigh scales, you take out a double handful for a £2 loaf of flour. A good double handful. And you cut it off and you bring it onto the table. This at first being sprinkled with flour, and you put the mass on there. You roll it and knead it, roll it and knead it, and shape it up until you think it's sufficiently mixed to put it into a cake tin. Put in there, this is a bit of a smaller size, but it would be like that. This is one that's cooked, of course, it would be still in a roast state when it's here.